Hey there, how are you doing? I'm in Hollywood with one of the best guitar players, Tommy Denander. Tommy, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, my friend. It's beautiful to be here. Sunny California, can never be wrong. And well, I'm having a great time. How are you?
Oh, I'm awesome here. Well, let's talk about what you're doing right now. I know you are promoting a new album. Tell me about it.
Well, I spent the last 10 years working on my fourth Radioactive album called 4. And I'm so proud of it. It's doing amazing, and you know, it's got some of the greatest singers in the world. Two of the best ones, very, very dear friends that sadly passed away last year, Jimmy Jamison and Fergie Fredriksson. So it's an album that means a lot to me, more than most albums I've done, you know, because we lost friends through it, but I put 10 years of my life into this album, and I think it came out really, really good. The reviews are amazing. Everyone seems to love it, so don't forget to check it out.
Yeah, I would call that kind of albums chess albums, chess.
Yeah.
Because if when you play and someone plays the next month and the next month, how was the process of production?
That's a good term, actually. I'm gonna steal that from you. It is. Fergie Fredriksson is the one that I don't know if he came up with the phrase, but he's the one who taught me the phrase, that the bro deal. If you play on my album, I'll sing on your album. Everyone's a brother, so it's the bro deal. Because these days, the business is different. There's not the kind of money that used to be in the 80s, where people got a huge budget to make an album and everyone got paid a lot of money because there was a lot of money. These days, the budgets are smaller for everyone. So the bro deal is we all take care of each other, we help each other out. So this album was very much done that way. It was really a chess process for 10 years. I like doing albums where I don't decide on a deadline, and Radioactive is my baby. I don't care how long they take. The first one took 10 years, second one took 2 years, third one took 2 years, and after the third one, which it seems a lot of people love, the three first ones, especially the third one, which is cool. I personally felt that it had some really good songs, but I wasn't happy with the production on everything, and at this time I felt, I'm just gonna take my time. It's not gonna be released before I feel it's 100% perfect. And this one, I feel it came out when I was 100% perfect. I'm blessed enough to be working a lot with Mutt Lange, the greatest producer ever, and he's the one who always says, albums are never finished; they're only released. There's a point where you have to go,
you gotta say,
okay, I gotta let go of this one, and I could probably have worked 2 more years on it, because I'm stupid, but it was time, and I'm very, very happy with it.
How was? You mentioned Jimmy and Fergie. How was working with them?
Incredible in every way. I met Fergie in 1999. He came to Stockholm to do a show, and a mutual friend just said, I know you're working on your first Radioactive with all the Toto guys. You should have Fergie sing on it. And I went, wow. So he connected us. Fergie came to my house and recorded 2 songs in my living room, in my studio, and
in Sweden.
Yeah, in Sweden, in my little hometown where I moved back and I still live in, which was totally surreal. And it felt like we had been friends for 100 years already. We just became great friends, and
it's a big loss.
Absolutely. We were such good friends. We even did the Fredriksson Denander album. We made an album together, and he sang on all the Radioactive, and we did a lot of work together. And when he first got the cancer, it was heartbreaking, and through a miracle he started getting better again, and he was able to join us in Legends of Rock. We did a tour in Japan and Europe, so we were actually able to tour together, and I got to play the best songs from the Isolation album with Fergie live. We had an amazing time all the way up till the end, and with him it was heartbreaking, but at least we had a chance to say goodbye. We had a chance. We knew he was gonna go, so we had a beautiful moment of actually getting to say goodbye. With Jimmy, I had the same kind of relationship. Jimmy was one of the most unique, beautiful persons, funniest guys you could ever meet, one of the greatest singers. We made 5, 6, 7 albums together, and and it was very much a bro deal. And we did that, you know, the very famous first Firefest show that was on the DVD came from, and touring after that, and we did Legends shows together and stuff like that. And he was the same. He was just a very, very beautiful person, but that was a complete shock. My girlfriend woke me up like 5 in the morning because, I don't know, she woke up early and she saw somewhere on the internet that you know, he passed away, and it just woke me up, and that was a big shock.
Yeah, I was able to meet him like 3 weeks before then.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like interview him, and then.
Well, you got the interview anyway.
Just 1 minute.
Well,
yeah, because interview Frankie. So.
Yeah. But then, I mean, you got to be in the presence of Jimmy, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. He was a very, very sweet soul. Really, really funny. One of the funniest guys I ever met in my life. You could never guess if he was serious or if it was a build up to a joke. With him, you never knew. It was, you know, and an amazing singer. And the opening song on my new album, Summer Rains, is one of those songs, one of the best songs I think I've written in my life. I co-wrote it with Ricky Dellin, that I've been writing with for 30 years. And we did it after the Firefest show. We went on a tour in Sweden. So we did 7-8 shows in about, I think we did 9 shows in 10 days. So it was a long, short but really, you know, tough tour, but we had a lot of fun. And I had done a few albums for him, and he said, you know, if you don't mind, you know, I'll sing on your album, you play on mine. I said, that would be great. But I mean, everyone who met Jimmy knew that he was a very lazy old man, you know. You really had to like drag him to do stuff. So I knew in the last day we were driving back to Stockholm, if I don't go straight to my studio today, because he was flying home the day after, it's never going to happen. Because I knew that he always said, well, send me the song, I'll do it back home. He didn't have a studio or anything. It was never going to happen. So he was, you know, a long drive home and everything, and he was tired. And I said to him when we started, right, so when we get to Stockholm, you and I are going into the studio to do the song. And he said, oh, okay. And I got, okay, so we'll see. So 7 hours later in the car, I knew, because I knew him, that if I tell him that we're going to the studio, he's going to go, oh, no, I don't want to do it. So we dropped off everyone else, and I told the guy driving, okay, we're going to my place now. So Jimmy was like in the last minute, says, so where are we going? I'm like, oh, no, we're just, you know, we're by my place. And he goes, okay. So I drag him into my studio and said, you know, we're doing the song now. And he went, oh, no, I'm so tired. Oh, please send me the song. I said, no, you know, fuck you. We are doing this now. And he was like, oh, you know, you son of a bitch, you know. And he, you know, he could be cranky and he was tired, you know, which is, you know, which is fine, you know. But then you know, and we had a really cool sense of humor together. So he said, well, play me the fucking song. You know, let me hear the fucking song. And I had everything prepared. So I play him the song. And, you know, it takes him like 30 seconds of listening. He goes, oh, okay. I didn't see that one coming, you motherfucker, you know. And he was such a professional. It just, boom, like that. He listened to it a few times while I was starting up my studio. I gave him the lyrics and everything, and he had a melody, you know, a rough melody on it, so he could learn it. He heard the song 4 or 5 times, walked into the studio, put his headphones on, got a great sound. He did the whole song in one take. From the first note to the last note, first take. I just sat there staring to the screen and went, that did not happen. He nailed the whole song in one take. I turned around and I said, "Are you for real?" I mean, I've known 2 or 3 people in my life who can sing like that. And he said, "Well, all my life I've been doing jingles. I've always been hired as a studio guy. So I'm all I do is I walk in, I get a piece of paper, and I go, boom, I nail it." So he was that good. So we put some extra backing vocals on, you know, a few of the parts, and then Jeff Parrish did all the big backing vocals on it.
Oh, Jeff, yeah.
Yeah, which is, you know, he's one of the most talented people I know on this planet. So, you know, the song just ended up being one of my favorite songs for the rest of my life. So that's why I put Jimmy first, Fergie second, because I don't want anyone to think that these people were not 2 of the most important friends, singers, whatever in the world. I think they deserve to be in the front and just open the album, and I couldn't be more happy and thrilled. I hope they're up there and that they can hear what it ended up being, and all the love that they get from the fans. So.
I'm eager to listen to the album because you are a good seller.
Well, you know, yeah, well, yeah. But I mean, in this case, you know, everyone that releases a new album goes, "This is my best album ever. You must."
Yeah, 2 years after, say, no,
Yeah,
this one is.
Yeah, that's why I said, you know, even when I released the third Radioactive album, and it came out, I knew I'd done a better job. I knew that, you know, it's
coming from you. It's hard to consider that.
Yeah, I mean, and I should have spent maybe one more year.
I mean, you are not a rookie, so
no, exactly. It just snowballed. When I did the first Radioactive, I started it here in LA in 1991 with all of the Toto guys, Jeff, Mike, Steve Porcaro, David Page, and me in the studio recording the bass tracks. So I mean, that was fantastic. And then I started adding, you know, Bobby Kimball, Fergie was on it, Joseph Williams, even David Hungate, the original bass player of Toto, Greg Philliganes, David Foster, Michael Thompson, Fee Waybill, everyone is on that album. But it took me 10 years to complete it until I was able to release it. So I always thought this would be my one album in life, you know, that I do this way, because I started 25 years ago when I was much younger. I didn't have the long career that I have now with, you know, where I do these kind of albums all the time. But back then it felt like, okay, this is my once in a lifetime album. So when it came out, I even said in interviews, well, this is a one-time album, you know, after this, if I do another album, it will be called Tommy Denander and blah, blah, blah. But the guys at the record label said, I think you're stupid. Your album came out, it sold amazing, it sold a lot around the world because, you know, Jeff Porcaro had passed away. There, you know, it was such a unique album with all of these old, you know, stars on it. And albums still sold a lot back then. So
yeah.
So they say, why are you changing? When now everyone's starting to know the name Radioactive. Why don't you keep doing albums under that name? And I said, whoa, you're actually right. So that got me inspired to make the follow-up album, yeah, which is, I think, also one of my favorite albums in life. That one came out perfect, I think. So when we redid, to follow up story, I mean, and I did that, and it got fantastic reviews. It was voted top album of the year around the world in so many magazines, websites, and everything. So I was on a roll, and I felt, you know, I want to do a third one. Let's do a third one. And there are some really, really good songs on the third one, absolutely. But I just changed the studio. I wasn't really happy with all the sounds and everything, all of that. Even though it has great songs, great artists on it, I just think I could have done a better album, even though I still like it. And luckily a lot of people like it. So when it was time to make the fourth one, I just said to myself, you know, it will come out whenever it comes out. I don't care. So I did a song and I put everything aside. I did a couple of songs when I had a chance to work with a singer or something. And it, you know, it just took time. And then getting to almost 10 years, I started feeling I need to finish this now. So I spoke to Khalil at Escape and I said, you know, I own the masters of the 3 first albums. I want to remix the first and the third one. So I got Jeff Parris to come in and re-sing all the stuff I didn't like about the third one, which made it a lot better. I added all the Japanese bonus songs. I added 1 new song per album. And I even got to remix the first one with Jeff and everything, because when we released that one in 2001, it was originally recorded out here on analog tape, transferred to ADAT digital tape, transferred to Pro Tools. It lost a lot during that whole process, and now, because I'm part of running the biggest and oldest studio in Sweden, the X-Level studio, we have, you know, the big gear. So now finally I could mix it the way I wanted it to sound and make it really much better. So I even changed, redid backing vocals on a lot of stuff I didn't like, changed a few vocals on it, and I think it came out good. So we released a box called what's the name of the box? I can't even remember the box. I'm so into this one right now. It will come to me.
Come closer. I
yes.
want to see you, not me.
Oh, they want to see you.
Yeah.
Well, it's called Legacy, the box. And it's a beautiful 3 CD box that was actually sold for like the price of 1 album. Like, you know, very smart move of the label. But it was a good way of starting it again, making people go, oh, so you released this, are you doing a new one? And then I started making it official. Yes, we're doing the 4th one. So it put pressure on me to release the box put the pressure on me to actually finish this album. Otherwise, I could have gone for 5 more years because.
Yeah, you put everything, you know, details. I know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and now I'm in a different position in my life with the studio that I have. I know much more how to make albums the way I want and everything. So this time, I really made sure that I was 100% satisfied with it, and I really am. So.
But your career is much more longer than just what you are doing now, because some people obviously don't know exactly what have you done in your past, but you played with Paul Stanley, Ricky Martin, and even Michael Jackson. How was that?
Incredible. The reason I started with music, really started playing guitar in 1975 is because I saw a poster of Kiss. So I'm to this day I'm a diehard Kiss fan and still collect stuff and everything.
Really?
Yeah, I mean.
What do you have?
Oh, I mainly collect books, tour programs, and weird stuff from the 70s. I don't collect everything because that would drive me insane. But I have like 250 books, you know, and I bought 2 new ones on this trip, and I find new books everywhere, and I have every tour book they ever made. I have one of the best copies of, you know, the rare one from '79 that goes for like $10,000. They actually made a reprint, very small reprint, because you cannot find the real one. But I even have a perfect copy of that. So I'm a geek when it comes to Kiss. So getting the chance to play on Live to Win, I played on the song Live to Win and Wake Up Screaming, was absolutely amazing. And
I was checking on the album and I didn't see your name. What happened with it?
Well, you know, even Paul feels bad about this because, you know, I met him afterwards. When they did the press release for the album, Paul sent it out himself. My name and a few other people's names were on it. And somewhere after they put everything together and they made the album, names were lost. We don't know how. I met Paul after the album came out, and he felt so bad. And I met him, you know, several times since then. And you know, I wouldn't say he's a good friend, but you know, we know each other. And we always talk about how the credit. It happens, you know. Sometimes they do. You know, sometimes they just miss credits. It happened on Jimmy Jameson's Crossroad Moments. I actually play on the whole opening song. I'm if you listen to the backwards guitar and everything, that's me. And the album comes out, and I emailed Jim Peterick and Jimmy go, what happened to my credit? And they got so angry. You know, somewhere along the line, somebody forgot about it. I've done more than 2,800 albums, so it happens from time. They misspell my name.
How many?
More than 2,800.
You?
Yeah. And the list is forever and ever and ever and ever. So.
You have them all?
Oh no, I maybe I have somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500. There's so many albums that I did in the 80s when I started doing sessions. I was often hired to play on a song or two, and everyone said, well, you know, it's just a demo recording. And then you hear a couple of years later, well, you know the song you played on, well, we actually released it, you know, it was on this album. Okay, I never get. Yeah, and it was on vinyl, so it's, you know, it's hard to get. So a lot of these, and these days, I used to collect everything, but these days, you know, in a very busy year, I'll play on I would say between 75 to 150 albums a year. But you have to remember that a lot of these albums, I maybe do a guest solo. So many weeks I will do like 5, 6, 7 albums a week, where, you know, there's 3 albums I do a guest solo, or I write a song on an album, I produce a single for someone that ends up on an album. So I don't, a lot of my session work is not 12 songs the whole album, because they take longer. I do a lot of that as well, but most of my work it's.
What about Michael Jackson?
Well, the craziest week of my whole career was that I was in Nashville working, and Desmond Child, who's a very, very good friend of mine, I actually saw him.
S-Cup.
Yeah, exactly. I just saw him a few days ago, which was great. I haven't seen him in a while. I had started writing songs for the last Alice Cooper album, because Bob Estrin, who produced it, was one of my favorite producers in the world. His cousin, Jeremy, is a good friend of mine. He lives here in LA. He said to me, you know, Bob is doing a new Alice album. They're looking for songs. So we wrote 1 or 2 songs that we felt were really good. We sent them to Bob, you know, and they said, well, this is really good, but it's not really what we're looking for. Okay, well, that's no problem. So I'm in Nashville working, and Desmond was living in Nashville back then. So I called him up and I said, you know, I'm here in town, and he says, well, come on over. We're actually selling my house. Where I'm moving, back to New York. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll come over. Living next door to him is Bob Ezrin, And so I go to this little party they have, before they're selling the house. And I'm sitting there and talking to him, and into the kitchen walks Bob Ezrin. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool, Talk about being in the presence of legendary people, So Bob, being a very, very sweet guy, I say, hi, I'm Tommy, and he goes, oh yeah, you're the guy who worked with Jeremy on the song, I said, yeah, well, I'm a big fan, of course, being a Kiss fan, being an Alice Cooper fan, being a Pink Floyd fan, and everything. So so the three of us just sit there, and Desmond, I've done a lot of albums for him and worked a lot for him over the years. He says to Bob, that, Bob, that song we've been working on for Alice, they tried a couple of different guitar players, but it didn't work out, and it was a great, great song. He said, Tom is one of my favorite guitar players. You should really use this guy. And he's like, he saved my ass so many times. I'm sitting there like,